There's no upside in a minute-to-minute update here. You know, the only thing that's of any value here is a long-term evaluation.
Magician Roy Horn fights to recover after being mauled by a white tiger. As fans and friends pray for his speedy recovery, a sign of hope from the Las Vegas legend.
This is News 3 at 5 with Kim Capozzo.
Good evening, everyone. We've been monitoring Roy Horn's progress, and we're going to show you right now video of an earlier show of Siegfried and Roy at the Mirage. And Roy was attacked during the same point in the show where he brings out a 7-year-old tiger named Montecore and introduces him to the crowd, saying it's his first night on the stage. Hotel executives say it wasn't the tiger's first night in the show. It's just something Roy likes to say to kid around with the audience. Audience members say it was at this point Friday night the tiger froze on stage, fixed his eyes on the crowd, and curled its lip in a threatening way. Witnesses say Roy tapped the tiger on the nose to shift its attention, and that's when the tiger pounced, biting Roy in the neck and dragging him off of stage.
The people that have reached out for Siegfried and Roy over the last 48 hours, in you know, in the form of fans and family and politicians and dignitaries and celebrity is overwhelming. The response is so touching that you know, on behalf of Siegfried and Roy and myself, we want to acknowledge, you know, there are a lot of people around the globe today that are praying for Roy's recovery.
Speaking of Roy's recovery, we're going to take you live now to UMC, where a news conference is underway on his condition.
He's indeed critical.
Do you think he's embarking on the way to recovery?
Every minute of every hour of every day that passes helps us get closer to where we want to be insofar as the recovery process is concerned.
What's the fate of the tiger? Still in quarantine and will remain so, or what's the situation with that?
The tiger remains with us, and I would like to say that on behalf of Roy, that his feelings are that this has nothing to do with the tiger. It's not. He's the last one to lay blame. You know, this is an unfortunate accident, and after 30,000 live performances, one anomaly is indicative of the fact that his relationship with these animals is extraordinary and unprecedented.
One of the stagehands told us that tiger had sort of a history of swatting at handlers at times, kind of a combative cat.
We have 63 exotic cats. None of our cats are combative. None of our cats have ever shown aggression on stage. Our history speaks for itself. It's all public. Roy has developed a technique for conditioning animals, you know, which is his own original technique, and that is of affection, of love, voice intonation, and contact.
Mr. Eubank, this is obviously more than a managerial relationship you have with them, and even more than a friendship that you have with them. You obviously had to lay off all of their workers the last day, and now they're coming out here to a vigil. What does that do for you?
It really makes us feel great. To know Roy for a minute is to love Roy. Siegfried and Roy are both very demanding entertainers, but they never ask anything of anybody more than they ask of themselves. When you do 2 shows a day, 6 days a week, 40.5 weeks a year, for 13.5 years at the Mirage, you have a work ethic that's second to none. They have that work ethic. And the people that are around them have been able to live up to that challenge. That's why they're with us. We value all of the people that have been with us at the Mirage over the last 13.5 years. They're our family as well. We operate as an extended family at the Siegfried and Roy spectacle at the Mirage.
Do you think that
News 3's Ann Lim is monitoring that live news conference going on at UMC. She is going to bring us the very latest just a little bit later in the show. But right now, we've received many calls in the newsroom about what people are holding tickets should do. And as of right now, Siegfried and Roy's performances have been canceled for the rest of the year. If you bought tickets, you can call the Mirage box office at 791-7111 for a refund. Again, that number is on your screen. It's 791-7111. Some are saying charges against 9 teenagers have not ended the reign of terror to the 311 boys. One Centennial High School graduate says he's still being threatened by the gang. News 3's Corey Chambers joins us live with the story. And Corey, the graduate says he got an unwelcome visit from the gang last night.
From his account of things, a very scary visit at that. Roberto Martinez says he might be out of high school, but he is not out of the grasp of the 311 boys. Now he wants to see something done.
It's sad to know that you walk outside and you got 30 people out here wanting to kill you because somebody didn't kill you in the first place. For what reason? Because you're Hispanic.
By now, we have all seen the videos, but Roberto Martinez says media attention has not been enough to keep the 311 boys from stopping at his doorstep.
I never knew these guys. I just victim of their little, mayhem that they've been doing for the last 2 years.
The Centennial High School graduate says he has had run-ins with the gang ever since he was nearly beaten to death 2 years ago. On Friday night, he says gang members came to his house saying they wanted to finish the job.
Kind of poked my head to see what was going on, and the next thing you know, here comes 7 trucks down the street lining up one after another, like packed full of these 311 boys. And they jump out and with weapons and threatening me, saying they're going to kill me, they want me dead, and, other profanities and obscenities. And at that point, you kind of wonder to yourself, what's going on?
Martinez also wonders what will finally put an end to the gang. He says the recent criminal charges and headlines have not been enough.
When is somebody going to step up and do something about this? When it's like heartbreaking, but I mean, words can't even describe the frustration or the anger that you have over something like this.
Metro is currently investigating this report. They say they're not sure if they're dealing with the 311 boys or someone else. Kim?
Corey, thank you. It's been a week of twists and turns in the case against the alleged 311 boys. Last week, we told you how a grand juror who helped indict the 9 teenagers in the case may have committed misconduct by writing a letter to the Review-Journal. Now we've learned that very same juror may have tainted another case as well. The attorney for defendant Stephen Gaisley filed a motion this week asking for the charges to be dropped after learning that grand jury member Ralph Smith wrote a letter to the editor in which he called the 311 boys spoiled rich kids who should go to jail. But now Gaisley's attorney says that wasn't the first time Ralph Smith did something inappropriate as a member of the grand jury. Attorney Bucky Buchanan claims that just days before the 311 boys were indicted, court documents show Smith was excluded from deliberating on a sex crime case because he was chatting with the 15-year-old victim on the internet.
This grand juror was a loose cannon. I would not be surprised if the district attorney dismisses the last 2 indictments against Stephen Gaisley.
Stephen Gaisley will be in court tomorrow for a bail hearing on a charge that he used a crowbar to attack another teenager. More tension tonight in the Middle East after Israel launched an attack against a terrorist training camp inside Syria. Syria has filed an urgent complaint with the United Nations. The U.S. is urging both sides to remain calm.
Mr. President, do you have any reaction to Israel's strike inside Syria today?
No comment from President Bush, but the White House says he did speak to Israel's Prime Minister Ariel Sharon after Israeli warplanes bombed an Islamic Jihad training camp deep inside Syria, believed to be Israel's first attack on Syria since the 1973 Yom Kippur War. An attack in retaliation for the suicide bombing at a Haifa restaurant that killed at least 19 people Saturday.
Every country must understand that if you harbor terrorism, you will be responsible for what happened to them.
As the Israelis mourned their dead, Syria vowed Israel will pay the price for its aggression and asked the UN to condemn Israel at an Emergency Security Council meeting late Sunday.
The international community will not tolerate such aggressive action.
U.S. leaders say Syria has repeatedly refused American demands to break up terrorist bases.
What the Israelis appear to have done in attacking Syria is not unlike what we did after September 11th in attacking training camps of al-Qaeda in Afghanistan.
Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat is condemning the terrorist bombing carried out by a 24-year-old woman.
Terrible attack and big crime which had happened in Haifa.
But the suicide bombing has triggered new calls in Israel to exile Arafat. The Jewish community is celebrating the holy holiday of Yom Kippur with a day of services. Representatives from Las Vegas's largest Jewish synagogue say today's goal is to allow people a better understanding of the holiday and of Jews themselves. A family service will begin at 6 o'clock tonight, followed by a late service at 8:15. They'll be held in Congregation near Tamid, located at 2761 Emerson Avenue. That's just 1 block south of Desert Inn. If you have questions about the services or would like more information, you can call the Temple office at the number on your screen. That's 733-6292. Just 2 more days until voters turn out for Election Day, and California candidates are campaigning hard.
We're here to clean out, to sweep out the bureaucracy. We're here to sweep out the special interests.
Still to come, hear what the candidates are saying and see what they're doing to get last-minute votes. Pink, blue, plus, minus, it can all be confusing when you're anxiously awaiting a pregnancy test. Now we'll show you a new device that's making it easier to read those results. It's coming up on News 3, where news comes first.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is News 3 at 5.
The candidates in California's recall election are taking advantage of this weekend before voters go to the polls Tuesday to rally their troops. And while front-running candidate Arnold Schwarzenegger promised to clean house in Sacramento, he's having to concentrate on more allegations of sexual misconduct in his own camp. Karen Brown has the latest from Los Angeles.
The band Twisted Sister sang the official Schwarzenegger campaign song on the final day of his 4-day bus tour.
I'm here to kick some serious butt.
As Arnold Schwarzenegger says he's not going to take any more of what he calls dirty politics. The Los Angeles Times now reports 15 women have come forward to accuse him of sexually harassing and groping them. After first apologizing for sometimes behaving badly towards women, Schwarzenegger now says some of the latest claims are absolutely not true. After marching on Sacramento, Schwarzenegger tried to stay on message.
We're here to clean out, to sweep out the bureaucracy. We're here to sweep out the special interests, and we are here, #1, to sweep out Gray Davis.
But at a rally with Jesse Jackson, Governor Gray Davis continued to blast Schwarzenegger.
The question gets down to this. Are all 15 women and their families lying, or is Mr. Schwarzenegger not telling us the truth?
As for the other candidates, Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante has suggested Schwarzenegger's alleged behavior may be criminal. And State Senator Tom McClintock told CNN that although he is concerned about the allegations, he also questions the timing.
It's very frustrating because there's not enough time to sort all that out, so people are simply going to have to make their own judgments.
The latest polls call race tightening, but even after all of the allegations, Schwarzenegger is still in the driver's seat.
The latest poll does show that Arnold Schwarzenegger still has a substantial lead over the lieutenant governor, but it also shows support for the recall slipping slightly. In Los Angeles, Karen Brown for News 3. Now, Kim, back to you.
Karen, thank you for that report. Results from a statewide poll on the California recall election have just been released. 54% of California citizens are in favor of the recall. 41% are against it. As for the candidates, Arnold Schwarzenegger is leading with 35% of the vote. Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante is in second place with 27%. And Republican candidate Tom McClintock has 13% of the vote. In tonight's Healthline 3, the home pregnancy test just got easier than ever thanks to a new digital test. It's called Clear Blue Easy. The test works like most others. You hold the monitor under your urine stream. A blinking display tells you if you're doing everything right and that the test is working. Within 3 minutes, the digital display reads either pregnant or not pregnant. It eliminates the need to interpret the traditional colored lines and leaves no room for doubt. The test is approved by the FDA. Gorgeous is what comes to mind when you take a live look from our Fitzgerald's camera. Nothing short of a picture-perfect Sunday.
Yeah, great day for the first Sunday in October, but changes lie ahead. It may not be so nice this week. We'll tell you exactly why coming up after the break.